And it is time for Tasty Tuesday here on Good Things, which is brought to you by PrimeShrimp.com, which is your one-stop shop for pre-seasoned, easy-to-cook shrimp. The best part, it is delivered straight to your door, and you can still use code GOODTHINGS, all spelled out, to get $20 off of your first order. So that is Prime, Prime, shrimp.com. And don't forget to, Prime Shrimp has added new flavors. The latest is their garlic, herb, and butter, which they consider their most versatile offering yet. You can take the shrimp and the garlic butter sauce. You can pour it over pasta, rice, vegetables, serve it up on some shrimp scampi or surf and turf atop a steak. And two, don't forget the Alfredo and the garlic butter. You get a meal inside the pouch, which means that sauce is going to be a big part of the process. So please do not get rid of it. It is part of the meal. You just need to cook the base in which you're going to pour it over. So they've got the signature, the Louisiana shrimp boil, the French Quarter Alfredo, the garlic herb and butter. And as always, too, you get the money-back guaranteed. When you use code GOODTHINGS, you get the $20 off of your first order. So lots of good stuff over at PrimeShrimp.com. I've always said here on Tasty Tuesdays, I just lean towards the signature shrimp because, to me, I can have more fun with it in the kitchen. So I have another fun recipe for you this week utilizing it. If you go over to SuperTalkTV.com, you will see a beautiful picture of my lunch this afternoon, as well as the recipe spelled out for you. And this is a really cool take on kind of a grain salad. Now, typically you would make a grain salad on the stove by cooking the grains, but this one is actually an overnight grain salad, Greek and grain salad that you can make in your refrigerator while you sleep. Don't you like that while you're doing that? Now, you will have to boil the water to cook the shrimp to put on top of it, but let me walk you through it because there's two main reasons why I absolutely adore this recipe. First, it offers a variety of plant-based foods. You've got your vegetables, you've got your whole grains, you've got some heart-healthy fats with the olive oil as well as the olives on top, which is usually a staple in Greek cooking. And then you can enhance any plant-based meal by adding a little bit of dairy. So here you've got the feta cheese. You're going to add a boost of protein. You're going to add some calcium and potassium to the meal. You're also going to add a nice little anchor that's going to keep you full and satisfied for a couple hours after you eat it. So first, you're just going to think about what grain you want to use. Now, not all grains are going to cook for you magically overnight in the refrigerator. And in fact, I mean, to be fair, it's not necessarily cooking. I guess it's considering more like rehydrating or soaking in the water or the moisture that you choose to make it soft like it was boiled. And you could totally do this on the stove. You could skip the whole over the night thing if you wanted to, but why not have a little fun and do something different? So grains that typically would work well for this are going to be like a bulgur or maybe even a cracked bulgur or even a barley. They're a little bit softer to do. You could even get away with doing a quinoa. I would have to try that one. I'm not sure. But the picture that you see at SuperTalk TV is couscous because I couldn't find barley anywhere. So there's that. It can be a little bit harder to find, which you might think that couscous is a grain because it looks like one and it cooks up like one. But technically, it's a pasta, which make you mind blow. But it's a really unique, light and fluffy, to me, I guess, carbohydrate, pasta-like grain that you can utilize in the place of rice or other type of grains for something different, and it just has a lighter feel on the fork. And so then all you have to do is chop, mix, and chill. No fire needed except to cook the shrimp or your protein of choice. And so you'll see a list of things to chop. You're going to have 1.5 cups of your couscous, 1.5 cups of green bell peppers or red or yellow or whatever you want. Chop those up. A little bit of red onion and finely chopped. And here is the magic where a lot of the flavor comes in. You're going to utilize a cup of tomato juice. Yes, like that good old V8, just good old tomato juice. And before you turn up your nose, when it soaks all in and it provides like that extra spice and just creaminess to it that you wouldn't get with just water, There's also some water and a third a cup of olive oil in it as well. That's going to give it some texture and rich and creaminess. And then you've got some seasonings of oregano, salt, and pepper. And you can look at the recipe, and I will post it later for that. So you mix all that together, literally, and you just let it chill in your refrigerator overnight. It soaks it up, light and fluffy, and then you can add your protein of choice. I did wait to put the cheese, the cucumbers, and the olives to toss those together right before you eat it or after it's set overnight. Those aren't really things that would kind of need to be in the mixture. And I chose mine with prime shrimp, signature shrimp on top for a protein, but you could totally do a grilled fish fillet, salmon. You could even do grilled chicken. You could just use this as a side, or you could just eat it as a meal in itself because the low fat, the feta cheese is going to give you the protein that you would desire in a meal. So I actually brought a sample for Rhino to try with us today on Tasty Tuesday because I know that you're thinking, I'm not going to put grains and just sit them in my refrigerator overnight. She's lost her mind. And so I said, you know what? We'll give it the Rhino taste test and see if he would give us an honest opinion of how it is. I gave him one shrimp because, let's be honest, I'm not going to give away all my signature shrimp just to give it away in case you don't like it. Okay, drum roll, Rhino. What do you think?
Well, I got a mouthful, but being rude and talking with my mouth full.
That's okay. It's fine on Tasty Tuesday. It's
delicious.
See? I knew you would sit there and you would think, she's nuts. You're putting all this in a bowl and it looks like vegetable soup. Really, it's not that liquidy. And you put it in the refrigerator overnight and you're thinking, you want me to eat that? It's not cooked, but it is. I mean, take the word cooked kind of out of your vocabulary. If you think of overnight oats, we've all done those or heard of them where you mix your yogurt or your milk with your, old-fashioned oats and you just let them sit. And then those oats with time are just going to soak in the water, which is all boiling is doing. It's just forcing it in at a faster pace.
Right. I mean, the boiling, you're adding energy to the liquid from the burner or whatever you're adding heat to it with. That energy is then transferring into the food.
Exactly. And so this is just a fun way to keep it. It's something different. You don't have to, you can prepare it the night before. You can use it for meals the next day or for a light dinner option as we move into the hot and summer months. But it's got a little kick to it. That kick is from the oregano as well as the tomato juice. And to me, it's fun. I got up this morning excited to see if it worked overnight and was pleasantly surprised. And I enjoyed it. I got this recipe from our friends at the Dairy Alliance who work with the dairy farmers of Mississippi, farm families. And 2 thumbs up in my house. I enjoyed it. And so you like it?
Oh, yeah. I love couscous. I didn't know it was a pasta. I thought it was one of those grains. But now that I know it's a pasta, I'm even more of a fan of it because it's not as frou-frou as I thought it was.
No, and I was kind of shocked, too. I mean, it's not considered a whole grain. It's definitely not considered the same as like regular pasta in the noodly form. But it is created out of the same wheat or flour that pasta is created out of, and so it's just a different sort of take on it. But
I like the flavor. I like the olives really help it a lot. The peppers and the onions, they add just a little bit of I wouldn't even say a kick. It's not so much a kick, it's just flavor.
Which I was worried that maybe, I was like, oh, should I cook down the peppers and onions before?
No, that little,
yes,
the crunch.
The crunch but because it's served chilled, that's the purpose of this particular Greek and grain salad, then it just works beautifully together. And then to me, you put cheese on top of anything and you've got me. So, in terms of heart health, or if you're just looking to maybe eat less meat or whatever it may be, any way that you can kind of boost your plant-based foods with those things that are going to keep you fuller longer, which are going to be your protein type foods, or your dairy foods, to me is a way to get the best of both worlds out of it. So I enjoyed it. It makes a really big bowl, so you would get several lunches out of it if you wanted to do it that way, meal prep it, or just use it as a side. I just think as we move into the summertime and you're grilling and you just want that light side to pair with your proteins, this would be just a really good one to do. And then you can't go wrong with putting shrimp on top.
Especially with the feta.
Yeah.
Love me some feta.
Absolutely. I've never met anything on feta that just taking, because I'm really excited about my cucumbers, just taking cucumbers and chopping those up with a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, and then tossing those in with feta. To me, I mean, you could keep adding to it and slice in some cherry tomatoes as well, or even a little bit of red onion. Now,
if you're getting to that much, you might as well get a flatbread and put it on that and put it in the oven.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I've been known to do that, especially when you get the crumbled feta and you go by it and you walk by it at the grocery store and it's like, hey, it's on sale. I just grab a box of that and go by and get a pack of the flatbreads. Flatbread on a cookie sheet, sprinkle the feta, sprinkle some olive oil, pop it in at 425 and just wait till you smell it. And
then you could top that too with the prime shrimp signature, or even the boil one.
I've put the shrimp boil on that, and it's delicious.
And it's delicious. Alrighty, prime shrimp, PRIME shrimp.com. Use code GOODTHINGS. Get your $20 off. Give it a try before you knock it, and stick with us. We've got more for you up next.